Hey everyone, I'm Lindsay Adler and I'm a portrait and fashion photographer based in New York City. Today we're in my New York studio and I'm going to show you how to create dramatic light for a beautiful boudoir session that carves our subject out from the background and really emphasizes curves. In this very simple setup, I'm going to show you how to use a single speed light and short light position to show her beautiful profile, and then we're going to add a reflector in order to emphasize her curves. I'm going to take you through my thoughts on posing, as well as the placement of the light and the reflector, so you can see how both the posing and the lighting are working together to best flatter my subject. Let's talk about the modifier in our speed light. I'm using a Rogue FlashBender 2 XL Pro. And what this does, because it allows my light source to become larger, it allows it to wrap around my subject more and also creates a softer light source. I am going to be placing this speed light in something called a short light position. And what this means is it's at an angle slightly behind my subject, so that the shadow side of the subject falls towards the camera. This is what gives me drama, and it gives a beautiful highlight, outlining the side of the subject's face. Now, of course, both my light and my posing need to work together. If my subject faces straight on towards the camera, I'm just going to be lighting the side of her face. So what I'm going to do is turn her to the right towards that light. And now that short light gives me the drama and beautiful shape of her profile that I'm looking for this boudoir shot. When I place this speed light, what I'm looking for is when she turns to the side, I either want the light just to outline the side of her face or to peek over a little bit over to the other side and give me Rembrandt light, which is when I see a small triangle of light underneath the eye closest to camera. Now, it may be difficult to do this when you're using a speed light. So one of the things that helps me is by hitting the button next to your lens called the depth of field preview button. When I hold that in, light is going to flash. The speed light will pulse repeatedly, and that acts as a modeling light, so I can actually see where I need to be placing that speed light. Let's take a moment to talk about posing. Because if I just turn my subject to the right towards the light, yes, I'm able to see her beautiful profile, but this is a boudoir shot and I really want to emphasize curves, so I'm going to have to pose appropriately. Now, if she just turns and stands to the right, it's just straight lines up and down. So I'm going to have her raise the leg closest to camera. And what that's going to do is going to give me a nice curve to her leg. And also, if she turns a little bit further away from the camera, it's going to allow me to emphasize her backside. So it'll give me nice curves both in the front and in the back. A couple other things that I'm looking for when I pose her to the side is, yes, I created that one curve, but what about her arms? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take her left arm and tuck it tight to her side. So it's not going to be obstructing any of the curves. If it's too far to the front or back, it's going to get in the way of the shot and the curves that I'm looking for. Now, with that back arm, I want to be able to see it, but I'm going to pop it out behind, and I'm going to give some negative space. So what it's going to do is it'll allow me a little separation between the beautiful curve in her back and the arm, so it's going to give me nice visual flow, and of course, all the while emphasizing her curves. Now that I have a beautiful pose and I have that main light and short light position, when I take a shot, I realize I'm missing something. The way that I'm shooting it now is I'm missing the beautiful curves in her back and her bum. I need to do something to carve them out from the background. Right now, it's just completely in shadow. What I can do is I can add a reflector, but I need to be very careful where I place that reflector. The reflector I've chosen here is a Rogue Super Soft Silver. And what this is going to do, it's going to be able to catch some of that light from the speed light and kick light back into my subject. If I place that reflector to the front side of the subject, what it's going to do is it's simply going to fill in the shadows, give a little bit definition to the darker areas. But that's actually not what I'm looking for this shot. Instead, what I want to do is I want to bring that reflector back around behind my subject. Now when it catches the speed light, it's going to act as a rim light. It'll kick light from behind and it will nicely carve out her bottom and her lower back. So it's not just a fill light, but instead another light source emphasizing curve. If you're trying this at home, what you want to make sure is you want to make sure that that FlashBender, that main light source, is actually hitting your reflector. If it's angled completely towards your subject, it might be missing the reflector, and then maybe you're not kicking quite enough light her direction. So I'm often making little tweaks in the direction of my main light and also the angle of my reflector to get the optimal light. I have both my main light and my reflectors on stands so that I can do this dramatic lighting setup all by myself. The reason that I've selected the Rogue Super Soft Silver reflector is because since it's silver, it's able to capture enough light to kick back towards my subject and therefore carve her out from the background. But by making it a little bit softer, it gives a little bit more gentle and more flattering appearance to the skin. One of the reasons that this is a great setup is because it is extremely portable. It's just a single speed light. a very portable modifier, and a single reflector. So you can take this on the go and create this dramatic lighting setup wherever you are. So taking a look at the setup and the beautiful images that we've captured here, I'm using a single Speedlight with a Rogue FlashBender 2 XL Pro, so it gives me a larger light source. And I'm placing that light source in a short light position so that I'm carving out her features in her profile and giving me a very dramatic lighting setup. But of course, when I turn her to the side, raise her knee, give myself all these beautiful curves, I'm losing the curves of her back, so I've added a reflector placed at a very specific angle behind her in order to give me a little bit more separation and capture some of the light from that Speedlight. If you want to try this, you can try it anywhere because it's simply a single Speedlight and reflector that gives you beautiful, dramatic results. If you liked this video and the images that we produced, be sure to check out additional Rogue tutorials.